These are called clamps. And the key thing that we have here is we always have the band right above the knee, okay? And then I brought this out to demonstrate that when you do these, you want to have a straight line from the shoulders to the glutes to the ankles. You see there's a straight line there, and that's one of the key things to do in this. And then when we start the movement, we don't want the hip moving over this way. So we want the hips to stay stabilized while you do this.
The movement is only as big as you can control that hip movement that Carlos was talking about. And you want to make sure you keep your feet flat against each other. Some people like to get a little leverage, which is destroying the purpose of the exercise. And with all of these exercises, 2 sets of 12 to 15 is always a good number.
How's that feeling, Cindy?
Good. And should you be feeling it in your hip?
Uh-huh.
Yes. And then this is when you can always find a weakness of which side. I tend to put my hand here so I know I'm controlling, not letting that hip roll. You don't want to roll backwards. You want to keep everything in alignment. And again, through all of these exercises, keep awareness on keeping your abs engaged, so that becomes a natural movement that you do throughout the day.
And as I mentioned in our previous exercise, one of the things that we don't want to do is, we have brute strength, and mostly I see men trying to do this, is to truly try to open that up. Once you do that and the hips start to sway, then you've actually lost the benefit of the exercise. We want a good controlled movement to keep the hips stabilized, which is what these exercises are supposed to do.
Next, we're going to do squat jumps, and these are just starting in a squat position and exploding into a jump. This is predominantly, I find these to be really good to help you power on the bike and on the run, to teach your glute muscles and everything to quickly fire and engage. So, Cindy, we're just going to start here and use your arms throughout this motion for your burst. So you're coming down into a squat, and you want to, if you notice when I came down, my knees wanted to collapse. That's not what you want to do. Again, that's what happens when we fatigue, when we're out running, cycling. So, and these are continuous. You want to do probably 10 to 12, in rapid succession. So watch your knees.
Okay, so what we're doing here is the hamstring curls, and these are very important to strengthen the hamstrings. A lot of people complain about having weak hamstrings and that they pull their hamstrings, and so this is a really good exercise to actually stabilize the core and also do your hamstring work. And if you'll notice here, what we want to do is we want to keep a straight line. Once she's extended here, there's a straight line here, okay? There's no drop in the hips, because once the hips drop right here, and Sue, you can demonstrate a hip drop. Once the hips drop, you've lost about, see how the hips just dropped? That's not what we want. We want the hips to stay elevated and stay in a straight line when we're doing this.
And one way to intensify this exercise as you become a little more experienced is one leg.
That would be level 2.
All right, we're going to have Cindy do some.
Have you ever done these, Cindy?
No.
The important piece, like Carlos said, is to keep that bridge. There you go. And just like I've stressed before, always have those abs engaged, especially in an exercise like this. You want to be sure you're protecting the lower back by using your abdominal muscles to help with that. And just like all of them, you do a set of 12 to 15, and then you move on to the next exercise. Good job, Cindy.
Good job, Cindy. Very good for a first-timer.